Coming up on OU Nightly, OU faces a lawsuit over the stadium renovation. OU's president leads the charge to raise money for education, and the South Oval is in full bloom for homecoming. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us. A construction company says that OU is paying more than it should to renovate the stadium.
That's right, and it has filed a lawsuit that claims OU is violating state law in the process. Haas Metal Engineering says OU did not abide by Oklahoma's Public Competitive Bidding Act. The company wants to supply steel for the project and submitted a bid of nearly $12 million. Haas claims OU selected a company whose bid was more than $84,000 higher. The company also claims that OU changed the project after it submitted its bid, further complicating the matter. OU denies the allegations.
And OU President David Bourne's organization, Oklahoma's Children, Our Future, is filing an initiative petition to raise the state sales tax by 1 cent on the dollar. The organization is pairing with Oklahoma Secretary of State Chris Benj to work on receiving 135,000 signatures to appear on the 2016 ballot. The initiative will raise $615 million in 1 year for Oklahoma education. About $125 million of that amount will go towards higher education, possibly freezing an increase on OU tuition and fee costs. With airstrikes ramping up in Syria, airspace is becoming more dangerous for pilots. Dylan Jazda joins us now in the News Center. Dylan, what are officials doing to keep pilots safe?
Alicia, the U.S. and Russia signed an agreement today in hopes of making Syrian airspace less dangerous. Defense officials from the U.S. and Russia have agreed to minimize risk of in-flight incidents in the war-torn country. The agreement includes specific safety protocols for air crews to follow. Recently, both countries have flown aircraft in close proximity to each other over Syria, causing concerns of pilot safety in tight airspace. For the first time in almost a decade, Canada will have a new leader. Canadian voters have elected a majority Liberal government with Justin Trudeau leading as Prime Minister. It was a stunning loss to incumbent PM Stephen Harper. Harper held the position since 2006 in February. And back here in the United States, states are struggling to obtain drugs used in inmate executions. Ohio joins Oklahoma in staying capital punishments, but the Buckeye State has taken it one step further. It will be at least 2017 until Ohio resumes executions. This will give prison agencies extra time to obtain the drugs needed. That's what's happening around the nation and the world. Back to you.
Thank you, Dylan. And it's an annual tradition that transforms OU South Oval into a spectacle of color. OU Nightly's Tyler Jones joins us to show us a campus in full bloom.
It's homecoming week at the University of Oklahoma, and the yearly mum tradition is in full bloom. The designs take months to prepare and change every year. Landscaping director Alan King is the man behind the mums.
We start planting them in June when they're little bitty plugs, and we nursery them through the summertime. And we target homecoming, like this year, it's on the 24th. So we go back 8 weeks before the 24th, and we give them a final shearing, so it cuts back all the blooms and really gets them to really bloom even more pathetic. And by homecoming, we've usually got full bloom plus a couple, 3 weeks afterwards.
But King also has a troupe of landscapers that work with him to accomplish this feat every year. Angel Mejia has worked with King for the last 24 years and says it's a daily task to maintain these planters.
I'm here 7 days a week. On the weekends, sometimes it takes 4 hours, 6 hours to make sure everything they get water, especially when it's hot.
King also says the secret to the blooms is the darkness.
A lot of people's always, presumes that, everything needs sun. Well, yeah, the plants need sun, but the mums, they actually need darkness to bloom. You can take and put these mums underneath a light, and the blooms won't open, So therefore, they have to have at least 11 to 12 hours of darkness to really achieve their full bloom.
So when you see the landscape crew in the South Oval, be sure to thank them for their hard work, because they're the ones who do the dirty work to keep this campus beautiful. Tyler Jones, OU Nightly.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tyler. Gosh, I love
They
the
do such a
mums.
good job.
You know, I took my senior pictures this weekend,
Oh, how
and we
fun.
took a bunch by the mums because it was so beautiful.
They are beautiful, and luckily the weather is perfect for them. Who would
That's
have
right.
thought?
Yeah. The temperatures are creeping up a little bit, though. I know over the weekend we had some really nice temperatures.
Right.
Mandy, what can we expect for the week?
Well, ladies, you're right. It is really nice outside. The mums behind me look absolutely gorgeous. They're getting a little bit of water right now. The sprinklers decided to come on us, and some of that is blowing over my way because it is windy out here. We had wind gusts of 25 miles an hour today. I was out in Oklahoma City this morning, and I felt like I just had to hold on to my hair because it was blowing everywhere. But the skies are gorgeous. They're blue. They're pretty. It is a great day to go outside, have a picnic, hang out, you name it. Take full advantage of this weather because unfortunately we're going to have a little bit of rain, which is good though because it's actually been 105 days since Oklahoma City has had over 2 inches of rain. So we really need it, and if these sprinklers are a little taste of what we're gonna get, then I say bring it on. Ladies, back to you.
All right, thanks, Mandy. Still to come, a new law could require vaccinations for all children.
Plus, Oprah joins Weight Watchers.
Welcome back. New recommendations on annual mammograms. In guidelines released today, the American Cancer Society says most women should start at age 45, not 40, and can switch to every other year at age 55. This applies to women at average risk. Higher risk patients should follow their physician's advice. And by law, Oklahoma children may opt out of vaccinations for personal or religious reasons, but a new measure before the Senate's Health and Human Services Committee would change that. The measure would require school children to receive vaccinations unless medically exempt. The bill follows the measles outbreak last year at Disneyland.
So now let's take it over to Lindsay with Money Matters. And Lindsay, it looks like Oprah is maybe joining Weight Watchers. What's going on with all of that?
She sure is. Oprah Winfrey is being brought in to turn Weight Watchers around. The former talk show host bought a 10% stake in the company and is taking a seat on its board of directors. Weight Watchers has been struggling the past couple of months. Its profits plummeted nearly 50% in the first half of this year. Since Winfrey's $43 million purchase, shares of Weight Watchers have more than doubled to nearly $14 each. The company is going to broaden its focus from weight loss to overall health and happiness. And it's happy hour for Oklahoma City-based Sonic stakeholders. The company posted a $26.3 million profit, equaling 50 cents per share for the fourth quarter. That's up 23% compared to last year. The chain opened 18 new drive-ins in the third quarter, leading up to a nearly 5% sales growth. And Oklahoma's unemployment rates slightly decreased in September to 4.4%. Statewide unemployment fell 0.2 of a percentage point compared to August, which was sitting at 4.6%. And Tesla stocks are down, and it's because one of its cars is being labeled unreliable. Consumer Reports surveyed 1,400 Model S owners. The consumers said they frequently encounter all kinds of problems, from charging equipment to the body of the car rattling. Surprisingly, 97% of owners said they would buy the Model S again, but the market did not react well to the negative recommendations, and shares of Tesla are down nearly 9%. And scammers are taking advantage of the massive change the credit card industry is undergoing. Banks have been sending out new credit and debit cards with microchips in them, but not everyone has received theirs yet, leaving an open window for scammers. The Federal Trade Commission says thieves are sending out fake emails pretending to be credit card companies. They're asking people to respond with their personal information or click on a link in order to get an upgraded card. And a Florida healthcare company is apologizing for a New York ad. A help-wanted ad in the Weekend Penny Saver said Haitians should not apply. The Haitian community leaders are very upset. It's still unclear who has been responsible for the ad. The president of the interim healthcare company apologized, saying it was totally unacceptable. An investigation is underway and the company is reviewing its policies. Well, guys, I really hope that they find out who placed that horrible ad.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really disappointing to see that. You would think someone would actually look into it more and do a double check of the ads that they're putting out.
Exactly.
But I guess not.
All right, thanks, Lindsay.
Still ahead on OU Nightly, a big-time basketball program is in the middle of a surprising scandal.
And Mandy Bailey showed us those beautiful mums outside, but she's back in the studio with full weather. Mandy?
Temperatures today have been absolutely gorgeous, but when can you expect rain chances? I'll have that and more coming up next. Welcome back to OU Nightly. You're taking a live look at the South Oval behind me, and notice these trees. You can tell they're really starting to move and sway. The wind has been blowing very hard so far today, gusts up to 25 miles an hour. If you've been outside, I'm sure you've been able to notice my hair was going nuts earlier, but it has started to calm down slowly as we continued on throughout the rest of our day. Taking a look at what's going on across the entire U.S., you can tell we have some cloud cover off in New Mexico and Arizona. Now, our next storm system, I'll have more on this here coming up, but our next rain chances are going to be associated with this storm off to our west. That's going to track into Oklahoma with that trough and bring us some much needed rain. It has been 88 days since we've last seen an inch of rain here in Oklahoma City. Now, starting tomorrow, we do start to see rain chances venture into our state. Unfortunately, they won't reach the metro for our Wednesday afternoon, but some of Oklahoma will see about a 40% chance of storms off to the west. Out in the Panhandle, Guyman seeing about a 60% chance of some rain and storms. Now come Thursday, though, that does start to creep east and bring us some much needed rainfall. 80% chance of rain off in western Oklahoma and the Panhandle. 60% chance of rain from Enid down to Lawton. Now that's not including Oklahoma City. We're going to stay in about a 40% chance of rain during the day on Thursday, and then as we head east, that does drop down as that system hasn't quite reached eastern Oklahoma yet. Now, come Thursday night, though, it's a different story. We have widespread heavy rainfall expected for much of the state, about a 70% chance of rain in Oklahoma City and Norman, 80% chance off to our west, and much of the state is going to be seeing some very much needed rainfall. Flash flooding is going to be a concern. We haven't had rain in a while, so the ground is going to be more likely to have that water run off than it absorb quickly. So something to keep in mind if you have travel plans on Thursday and into Friday. Remember, we're going to have some rain chances. Overnight lows tonight, though, are going to be nice in the lower 60s for much of us. A few places in the upper 50s off in Bartlesville and out in the Panhandle. They're going to be a little bit cooler for tonight. Now, come tomorrow, we're going to warm up again. It's going to be nice, though. If you have outdoor plans, take full advantage of them. Early in the morning, you may need that jacket if you get cold easily, but by the afternoon, you're not going to need it. 78 degrees for our high. Now, we will have partly cloudy skies, and that cloud cover is going to continue to increase as we go through the day. As that low pressure system moves towards Oklahoma, a lot of cloud cover is going to be associated with that. So it's going to get cloudier as we continue on through our afternoon tomorrow, and highs all across the state. Really beautiful, low 80s for most of us. It's going to be a good day to hang out outside because the days after that, we're going to be wet, which we need it, so we can't really argue with that. Now, come Wednesday and Thursday, again, we're going to be nice and cool, lovely fall-like temperatures. Now, come into Friday, we're going to start dropping a little bit. That wind does shift down, but we do have some rain chances this weekend, possibly for our game this weekend. I'll keep an eye on that, but I think the big story is really going to be Thursday night into Friday.
Oh, man. Right. Well, hopefully it doesn't rain this weekend. I mean, we've got homecoming festivities going on.
I would not want to watch a football game in the rain again.
But the chances are lower than, like, Thursday, probably definitely.
Thursday, yes, definitely. Now, come Saturday, I think most of it will be out. If we have anything, I'm more inclined to think it'll be more Saturday night, but that kickoff's at 2:30, so we can't rule it out right now.
All right, well, thank you. And speaking of football weather, the Sooners bounced back against Kansas State in a big way on Saturday.
That's right. Hopefully the team plays like that again for homecoming. OU Nightly's Courtney Boggs standing by. Courtney, what's going on?
Definitely, guys. There seemed to be a different kind of spark about the OU team in Manhattan this past weekend. We'll cover the Sooners' up-tempo offense. And transfer quarterback Baker Mayfield has a little insight on what life is like at Texas Tech. All this and more, sports is straight ahead. Thanks for joining me. I'm Courtney Boggs, and this is OU Nightly Sports. As the Sooners prepare for Texas Tech this homecoming Saturday, they would do well to remember a few things from last week's shutout win over K-State. Starting with the opening drive, the Sooners came out playing fast and loose. The opening drive was a 5-play, 75-yard thing of beauty that took just a minute and 5 seconds off the clock. Baker Mayfield completed 3 of 3 on the drive, hitting Sterling Shepard, D.D. Westbrook, and then Shepard again for a 22-yard score. It was by far their most impressive start of the season.
I've always pushed for speed. I love playing fast. It's what I've been in since I've been here. And yeah, we definitely picked up the tempo, and that's something that we had to go in and fix and work on. And we picked up the tempo, and it worked out for the best.
And during Monday Night Football, Eli Manning started things out with this touchdown to Odell Beckham Jr. Sam Bradford responds later in the quarter, fakes the handoff, looks upfield, passes, and connects with Riley Cooper for a 32-yarder. The game is tied 7-7. Moving ahead to the third quarter, former Sooner DeMarco Murray battles up the middle, heads to the outside, and scores with a 12-yard run. Philly went on to defeat the Giants 27-7. And more good news for Sooners in the NFL. Former quarterback Landry Jones brought a strong presence to the Steelers lineup on Sunday. After backup QB Michael Vick left the game with a hamstring injury, Jones took over the driver's seat, throwing for 2 touchdowns and leading Pittsburgh to a 25-13 victory over the Cardinals. Head coach Mike Tomlin told reporters earlier today that Jones is likely to start for the Steelers in Week 7. Strippers and college recruiting. That's the story broadcast by ESPN about the University of Louisville basketball program. According to the report, 5 former players or recruits say they attended parties inside a campus dorm where strippers performed and were paid by a graduate assistant. A self-described former escort said in a book published recently that she set up or participated in nearly 24 parties at the university between 2010 and 2014. Head coach Rick Pitino denies knowledge of any of these activities. Last night, Game 3 of the ALCS between the Blue Jays and the Royals. The game was a tight one early until Troy Tulowitzki and Josh Donaldson opened up the gate, hitting 2 of their 3 home runs en route to a 6-run third inning. Kansas City added some runs in the 9th, but it was too much, as the Blue Jays would go on to win 11-8. The Royals still lead the series 2-1. And the two are currently in the middle of Game 4. Kansas City leads 5-2. And finally, back to the Sooners for a second. Last night, quarterback Baker Mayfield made a return visit to the Sooner Sports Pad show. Mayfield is a transfer student from Texas Tech and was asked the following question.
What's the biggest difference between living in Norman and living in Lubbock?
Oh, gosh. Okay, well, Lubbock's a little more flat, and there's not as much green, and it smells a little more like manure.
All right. Well, I haven't been to Lubbock, but that doesn't really make me want to go too much.
Not appealing at all. I don't blame him for transferring if that's the case.
Right.
That's right.
Clearly he made the good decision of becoming a Sooner.
Yes.
All right,
Thanks, Courtney.
And still to come, Great Scott! The day of hoverboards and interactive Jaws movies is tomorrow. Or is it?
I'm Anna Whitney at the OU Nightly Update Desk. A construction company has filed a lawsuit claiming OU selected a higher bidder to provide steel for the stadium expansion project. OU President David Bourne is leading a group that tomorrow morning begins a process that could lead to an Oklahoma education bonanza. The group will file papers that could allow voters to decide whether to approve a 1-cent sales tax. The tax would raise $615 million for Oklahoma education in just 1 year. That's Update. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Anna. Back to the Future fans, the countdown is over. Tomorrow is the day that Marty McFly and Doc Brown landed in the future in the second film. Some things, like the headsets and the dinner table, are similar to today's Google Glass, and the Cubs might even have a chance at winning the World Series this year. But of course, what everyone was really hoping for by October 21st, 2015 is the hoverboard. Some companies are working on it, but we're not quite there yet, guys.
Yeah, that's too bad. I mean, there were some things in that movie that were really cool, like the self-tying shoes.
That's right.
I knew Nike, they had tried to create some of those,
yeah,
but
it didn't really work out.
Yeah.
Well, man, if I had a hoverboard, I know that today would be the perfect time to be out there hovering over the mums.
Yes,
Right.
exactly, and tomorrow too, but tonight would be even better. We don't have as much cloud cover overhead. It's gonna be nice this evening if you're out and about, and so thankfully temperatures aren't gonna be too hot as we continue on throughout the rest of the evening. By midnight, we're gonna be down in only the mid-60s, so if you're outside at that time, you might not even need a jacket, especially if the cold weather doesn't really bother you. Those winds are gonna die down, so we're not gonna have a whole lot of an issue, and man, I wish I had a hoverboard.
Oh, I know.
Pretty cool.
All right, well, thanks, Mandy.
Well, thanks for watching OU Nightly, brought to you by the Gaylord College of Journalism.
We'll see you back here live tomorrow at 4:30.
Have a good evening.
Good night.